Hello, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. So today I want to go over a few different issues that are related to sports cards, card collecting, and the recent Fanatics Fest. And one of the big issues that I have, with our current climate of sports collecting is I've seen a lot of people come into the hobby, but let's face it, I've also met people and talked to people who have left the hobby. And, if you're a fan of collecting sports cards and you've been that person your whole life, more or less, like I have, I don't see you exiting anytime soon. I'll put it that way. But if you're somewhat new and you come in the hobby, and say you came in during the pandemic, and I doubt anyone would be watching this video who has left the hobby, but think about the people who entered and left the hobby within that time period, from the pandemic to now, 2025. And what is it about this hobby that would drive a person away? Because, if you're a wealthy person, I believe that this hobby definitely offers you a lot of great things. But if you're someone who is struggling, to get by, I believe there's a lot of things about the hobby that drive those sort of people out, and what is the final straw, the straw that breaks the camel's back, I guess, of someone who decides to leave the hobby? Is it the gambling? Is it the fact that it's hard to afford hobby boxes, So you can't really enjoy that, without spending a fortune, or else, using your money to get into a break, so you can cross your fingers, you're going to get some cards that you would typically never be able to afford, and then you get the break and you're just, really let down with the cards that you have received, Is it that part of the hobby that's driving those people out, who, can go into other hobbies, not spend near as much money, and still come out as a hobby hero? Because let's face it, what's it take to be a hobby hero in today's world of collecting? Well, it takes a lot of money. And I would even say that you would have to enter a different realm. Like, you can't just be normal guys like me anymore. You have to be famous. Not just famous, but wealthy and famous, And that's what Fanatics Fest New York City really kind of brought out, is how it's turned into just a bunch of influencers and celebs and lucky people who can afford to go to Fanatics Fest. And the exclusivity really stands out as far as, well, I just don't see the type of people that I used to see collecting sports cards go into anything like this, I mean, the people who I grew up who would collect sports cards, or even who I currently know, were like, middle income, middle low income, maybe low income. You know what I mean? People like me, and people like a lot of my friends, and the people I grew up with, we could never afford to go to Fanatics Fest, And so when you look at the people who got to go to Fanatics Fest, they're on YouTube. They're big gurus, YouTube gurus, and they always like to brag about, what they purchased, because it's really exclusive, and they're really happy that it's exclusive, that so they can, rub it in everyone else's faces. But is this good for the hobby? Ask yourself that, Is bringing in all of these big superstars and influencers, rappers, whoever, is it the way to go? And I don't think it is. I think it's hurting the hobby more than it's helping the hobby currently. And there's a lot of hypocrites that go along, with this view. We can go to Fanatics Live, and here I'm on Instagram right now, and you can see all the hyped up cards, the hyped up Fanatics Fest stuff, and to me, it feels like it's not meant for me. Why is that? Well, I'm not a millionaire, man, and that brings us to, the second issue that I want to talk about, and that is really the hypocrisy that seems to go around with Travis Scott's ties to Michael Rubin, Fanatics, and all of, like P. Diddy's former things. And right here's a Travis Scott red autograph out of 5, So he's definitely part of the circle of Fanatics friends, if you know what I mean. Michael Rubin's Oreo hug is a playful term used to describe a hug he gave to Lil Baby, where the rapper was sandwiched between Rubin and another person. The name is a reference to the cream filling of an Oreo cookie. The term the hug itself became a meme and subject of discussion, particularly after Lil Baby addressed it in an interview. All right, I'm not going to go too far down there, but let's look at some of these headlines. Lil Baby admits Michael Rubin hug jokes bother him. Why people keep talking about all the hugging at Michael Rubin's parties. Yeah. All right. So, and then there's been rumors of possibly bisexuality with these guys, which I highly doubt that's the case, but who knows? But the thing about this picture from Reddit is you have to look at who posted this, whose account on Reddit is this coming from, and the headline. Do Travis fans still bump Lil Baby? Well, look at this. On the top right here, it says Travis Scott, the official Travis Scott subreddit. Pre-order Jack Boys 2 now. All right. But then it says here, I don't know, man. Since he became a reverse Oreo at the all-white party, I've been looking at him different. Is that homophobic? All right. So this is the Travis Scott account. All right. And this was 9 months ago. But then we come to this issue on X today. And this was posted not very long ago, very recently. And I'm not going to run the audio because the trolls will likely give me a copyright strike, anything to take me out, So I'm not going to run the audio on this video. But what this video goes over is a trade, between Travis Scott, Michael Rubin for, some one-of-one card. And, it really does seem hypocritical that Travis Scott says one thing about Lil Baby, and there he is hanging out with Michael Rubin very recently at the 2025 Fanatics Fest. And the comments genuinely reflect it. Like, here's one. Fanatics sucks and so is Topps ever since Fanatics took over. Okay, that's pretty basic. This is what card collecting has become. The quest for one-of-ones by rich folks and pro breakers. No room for normie peasants in this hobby. Yeah, and that's really the way it feels, is you have to be in the close circle, to get these big cards, from your big buddy Michael Rubin, and all the peasants like us, who, like me, I live on, the Western U.S. We don't get anything. We get rotten boxes. I can order online, whatever, but there are no Fanatics Fest on the West Coast. There's very few events, for collectors on the West Coast. And honestly, I wouldn't want to go to Fanatics Fest if it was even around. But, there's an issue with influencers. Like it says here, influencers and breakers coming to the hobby has only made it worse. I guess the price of all the Topps products going up is so that they can fund their rich folk to get together to do stuff like this. It's tiring. Curious to know how much in total these paid appearances costed them over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I don't like about celebrity sports cards these days, because that's the way it really is. It's a country club. It's the white party. It's the white diddler. It's everything to do with Michael Rubin, the center of the sports card universe, This is not what the hobby is about, but get your clicks, bras. Like it says here, what's the grading case box model? Is it random with the top sticker? If Michael Rubin sucks. He belongs in prison. You promoting him is disgusting. I'm not sure who that's related to. Rubin sold his soul. Millionaires and billionaires are destroying the hobby. I agree with that. They destroy everything in the U.S. You have to at least nod to the fact that millionaires and billionaires could do whatever they want in the U.S. and we just kind of deal with the breadcrumbs. That's basically what sports cards are becoming. This F. Travis Scott. Michael Rubin is the definition of someone who buys his friends. I kind of have to agree with that statement. Filthy rich people trading baseball cards. Why? Just effing buy what you want. And then we have this picture. This, what they was up to before the event. The rumors are just getting so bad, from the reverse Oreo hug, the little baby issue, Meek Mills, all a lot of these former Diddy tied rappers all of a sudden, hanging out with Michael Rubin endlessly. At Michael Rubin is the cringiest man alive. The owner of a card company trading cards is a straight scam. The hobby is toast. Yeah, I kind of have to go with that too. I mean, this is also staged. They are told to act interested in cards for a payday. Michael Rubin is a shill. And yeah, there's no shortage of negative comments when it comes to this issue, and I feel like the entire Fanatics Fest has been kind of given a black eye or, a blemish. Overall, I feel like from a middle income point of view that this is a bad look. Is Fanatics Fest good for the hobby or is it bad? Are these issues with Michael Rubin, with the reverse Oreo hug, Lil Baby, Travis Scott, these rappers that came from P. Diddy's crew who've more or less, morphed into Michael Rubin's crew to an extent. Where is this going? The exclusivity of sports cards, you can follow the big gurus on YouTube, they've all hit the Fanatics Fest, they have their cards, whatever. And everyone else just kind of, all right, go and get your piece of garbage blaster box, so Michael Rubin can go pay for his big lifestyle, Then that's really, it's coming across that way. And it's not just me. You can read the comments over and over again. Currently, to me, Michael Rubin represents snob knob. And all the people who love Michael Rubin and go with him represent the same thing, whether they're rappers, celebs, influencers, former sports stars, or big sports stars, whatever. Will it ever get back to the common man, the common person, and make it an affordable hobby like, it's always been? I don't know. I just wish that I could stop looking at it like I have to join the Sports Card Country Club. You have to pay your membership dues every year, which are thousands and thousands of dollars. If you're not part of the inner circle, like a lot of these things, whether it be Michael Rubin's White Party, whether it be Fanatics Fest New York City, if you're not part of the inner circle, you're just more or less made out to be a joke in the hobby. Don't pretend you're not. And to me, that's just, it doesn't give the hobby a good feeling like it used to, Exclusivity creates a lot of anger. There is a lot of hypocrisy that I see in this video, even coming from Travis Scott, how they can sit there and label Lil Baby one thing, in a Reddit post, and then there he is hanging out with Michael Rubin, and these guys are all tied in with P. Diddy, and so if you feel differently, maybe you think this is the best thing, leave some comments. Leave some comments if you agree with me. That's great too. I'd like to thank my subscribers, and all my recent subscribers. And I'd like to thank the viewers as well. If you haven't subscribed as a viewer, it's 100% free. Just click that subscribe button, and you will help this channel out immensely. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.